Sunday morning news, views, and interviews. Your host, Aaron Mayer. And we have on the incredible digital keyboards, as they say, the man with the space, and he's got all the, as they say, instruments of the Galactic Empire at his disposal. My brother Mike Ryan on the keyboards, as I say, the engineer emeritus. If you hear me, Scotty, I need more power to the right flank. You're going to see my brother Mike Ryan hit those buttons and keyboards, and we will tilt to the right. But today of all days, we have my brother Mordechai Rubin, Rabbi, who is of Chabad Colonie. Have to dial him in. We missed him for the high holidays in the early part of the year, but we got more holidays coming up. And also just him briefing us what's happening in the wonderful Chabad community. Our brothers and sisters in the Jewish community, as again, have always been strong allies and always taking care of those in need. And so I said, listen, let me dial in brother Rabbi Mordechai to see, just to check in with him and just get the good news of what's happening. Brother Rabbi Mordechai, how are you doing? And tell us about Colonie Chabad.
Thank you, Aramir. I love this new format. God bless you and God bless all of us with peace and with health. There's a lot going on. There's always something to look forward to, which is important. The main Jewish holiday that's coming up is called Purim. And,
okay.
We're looking forward to Purim because it's a happy holiday. It's when children get dressed up in costume. Not only children, I'm going to get dressed up with my family. We actually have a theme. I should have brought my little postcard that I sent out. But we're going to be the Jews of the shtetl. You know what the Jews of the shtetl are?
Well, that was Jews of the hood. That's like it's like the old ghetto. It's like the old hood, So I'm from downstate, New York, and so I know about the shtetl. So I'm almost ready for Passover, brother. But it's I got certain key words because we're very close to the community, brother. So yes, and the other thing too, brother. The other thing I love about Purim, and it's my weakness, is Hamantash, baby. The cookies, baby. I got to have the cookies. So I'm just putting my order in now. See, other people got the Girl Scout cookies. I got the Purim Hamantash, baby. So just let the wife know. Let the wife know.
It's amazing you said that. Today I was driving my daughter to the dentist.
Mm-hmm.
She's 5 and she just lost her tooth front teeth, and she needs some dental work. So I went off with the dentist with her today, and we started packing Hamantash, starting to visit people to celebrate and share the joy of the holidays with them. And she said, "Oh, if we're going to the guy, we thought we were going to head over to where you are."
Mm-hmm.
The radio said, "You got to bring Hamantash," and he loves Hamantash.
See? Well, we're as I say, we're just starting this new digital format. Been doing this show for 25 years. So, I'm blessed to have the new format now, but it's been great to have a 25-year archive of news, views, and interviews. But something, our listeners are always going to be in a treat for listeners and information from local, hyper-local to hyper-international. And it's always a blessing when one has a platform, a media platform to communicate the good news and the good work that's going on, at the hyper-local level, but even as we start to bring in some of our national and international guests, because a lot of great things are going on. And we have this wonderful media platform by which we can deliver to our capital region listeners, and now with YouTube, and now with the internet, our listeners around the world. I wish my buddy Iman was alive. In fact, he was a longtime worker out of health department of New York State, but he was also an activist in Turkey. And the right-wing regime that's over there cracking down on freedom of speech and dissent, the Ghazi Park uprising. We broke that right here on News Views, and we were actually doing digital communication over the phones at that time, getting video footage. And so if we had this platform that we're on right now at that time, we had quite a few thousand people dialing in the show from abroad. Everybody over in our media department is like, what's going on over in Turkey? Why is this show hitting? Because it was one of the few vehicles that people could learn about what was happening inside Turkey that wasn't blocked. So wow. This is a wonderful platform. And so, what's great about this, Rabbi, the show, we will now keep it on YouTube. So our brothers and sisters in Israel, our brothers and sisters in Ukraine, our brothers and sisters down in Brooklyn, they can sit down and hear about what's happening with the Chabad community, but also look at that joint fusion that basically, as always, they said, that brotherhood between the Jewish and the African-American community, that we have it live and going. And as I say, our long-term relationship and our long relationship, like I said, when times get tough, you and I are here out in the, whether it's hot or cold, we're here, as I say, bringing the good news of brotherhood and sisterhood and familyhood.
I love it. I want to tell you, number one, in that spirit, you just mentioned Turkey. Obviously, our hearts go out to the catastrophe, the earthquake that's gone on in that part of the world. It's many parts of the Middle East, but specifically in Turkey and Syria.
Mm-hmm.
And talk about brotherhood across the community and across the different lines of what civilization may create as barriers.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get down to people, it's amazing that actually a delegation from Israel of safety workers and humanitarian aid reached out to Syria and Turkey to provide aid. And believe it or not, they were accepted. And when we had the issue down in Surfside, Florida, there was a very elite team of Israeli top professionals to deal with that type of
There's the building collapse. The building collapse down in Florida, yes. Mm-hmm.
Now also they're going out to Turkey. So that's another sign of peace, of different people coming together. And that really is what we're here to do, is to shed light. You're talking about the Chabad community.
Mm-hmm.
And I love being on the show. I did say that this is a step up, technology to make it a broader audience. But I do appreciate the vibes in person. We'll have to meet up for Hamantash. So the Rabbi, our leader, was a great, and this is back way beyond this time. This is talking about the 80s and early on when technology was advancing, and many religious leaders, certainly Hasidic leaders,
mm-hmm.
did not embrace technology because there's incredible good assets of technology, but we also know the internet has its dark parts. Let's just say that.
Mm-hmm.
There's some negative stuff going on. And the Rebbe was always embracing, and he would speak publicly. Not only would he recommend his followers to talk on the radio, literally, the Rebbe had a whole deep speech when he spoke about when Jewish information is being transmitted on the radio. He was very excited about it. But he himself allowed his talks to be, and they weren't in English, they were in Yiddish, the traditional way that a Rebbe speaks, and they were broadcast on satellite TV. So the Rebbe said, if there's something in the world that's created, that's useful, what do you think it's for? For the negative? No, it's for the positive.
Mm-hmm.
Now, true, we have free choice. People can exploit it and use it whatever they want. But this idea of embracing technology is a very important idea where we live. And so I'm all for this. And we'll get together for some in-person Hamantash. But Purim is
absolutely no doubt.
than Hamantash. Purim is larger than Hamantash. And this year, you said the shtetl sounds like the ghetto. And I know why people think that, but I want to debunk the myth. The ghetto was a place where Jews were locked up in a big city. Because they were Jewish, they were different, and God forbid, we know what happened in the Holocaust, the ghetto, the Warsaw ghetto.
Right.
But a shtetl is actually a very serene, it's a very peaceful place. A shtetl would be a small hamlet in the woods, not near the big city. The big city, when they would round up the Jews and put them into a place, that's a ghetto. A shtetl would be a place where you're out in the woods with animals. And going back 200 years ago or so, that was the shtetl life.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that we termed it, I would get the card, maybe I'll do it during the intermission, that there's some things that never change in a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
Family values, in terms of, camaraderie of people, the unit of the family, all that type of wonderful things that we need today. We need even more today.
Mm-hmm.
Keep people together, keep people real, and not just, you sitting in. If you're going on a train,
would the equivalent or parallel for shtetl would be like Fiddler on the Roof? You think about the community
yes,
in Fiddler on the Roof?
Exactly. Not only that, we will have live music at our Purim celebration. It's going to be, we couldn't find the shtetl out here, but if you're familiar with the area, there's a wonderful historic landmark, and it's the town property in Colonie, the Prime House. And we had gone there before, and then COVID came, but now we're back. We're going to have a wonderful Purim party in a historic old mansion.
Okay.
So it's going to have the olden day feel to it, but we will be having some songs from Fiddler on the Roof. You've got it exactly.
Mm-hmm. So, now my question, will it be the cool dancing?
There will be dancing. I hope there'll be more dancing than I think there will be. But Purim is a holiday when we mark the fall of Haman. That's the name of the Hamantash.
Mm-hmm.
And it represents where good triumphs evil, and Haman wanted to get rid of the Jews. He was the ultimate, the quintessential anti-Semite. Wanted to get rid of the Jews. Every Jew, no matter if you were practicing or you weren't practicing, and no matter what your observance was, if you were Jewish, you literally had a ticking time bomb on your head. And
well, I'm going to tell you something, brother. I hate to close on that powerful note, but we will pick it up in the second half. Your host is Aaron Mayer, and the show is News, Views, and Interviews. And we have our wonderful guest today, Rabbi Mordechai Rubin. And we're talking about Purim and the Purim holiday that's coming up. And since we're doing it with this new technology, I get no Hamatasha, but he's coming back with the Hamatasha. We'll be back in a few. Sunday morning news, views, and interviews. Your host, Aaron Mayer, and a man on the boards, the keyboard magician and engineer, Mike Ryan. And today we have as a wonderful guest, Rabbi Mordechai Rubin of Colonie Chabad. Well, Rabbi, I know we're going to go right back to Purim in a second. We're going to talk about Haman and some of the characters of the story of Purim. But again, could you tell us real quick at the top of the hour, about Colonie Chabad, the community you serve, and the geographic location within the state of New York?
Wonderful. So pleasure being back here once again. We serve the entire community. We focus on the Jewish community. Particularly, we are seated in Albany County. It's Colonie, New York. We have an array of programming for young people, for adults, education, holiday programming, joyous, happy Judaism. And in fact, speaking about that, we're actually having a special Shabbat, not this Shabbat, the following, the week of the 17th of February. We're having a special dinner and speaker. It's called Shabbat of Inclusion. Mm-hmm. February is Jewish month of inclusion. And we're going to be having a local guest who's going to talk about, he's written 2 books. His name is Jesse Saperstein. Mm-hmm. He has Asperger's, and he's written 2 books on Asperger's. And the point of this Shabbat is that people from the community get to know how to be there for others, how to be more mindful of others' needs and others' sensitivities. So that's a special Shabbat we're doing coming up. And that represents really all the work we do. It's all about inclusion, getting all types of people together and joining in a warm, happy, and friendly manner to make the world a better place.
And if people want to get information about the Shabbat and Colonie, what's the phone number? What's the website? How do people get information? Somebody might be coming from Brooklyn, heading north to the Adirondacks, but they want a cool place to stop off over and have a nice cup of coffee or tea.
Absolutely. We have actually a lot of guests. We're on one of the most Jewish traveled routes in the Northeast or in North America, or probably most places aside from Israel. Mm-hmm. That is between the tri-state area. We have New York, you've got Muncie, you've got New Jersey, you got a lot of very concentrated Jewish communities. And up to Montreal, this is one of the most traveled Jewish routes. We have guests all the time, and when people stop over, they always want kosher milk in their coffee, so we welcome them. And specifically, our target is our local community. The grassroots movement is the way we go. So awesome. My number is, our number you can reach us at is 518-368-7886, or you can go online and contact us through our website or see what we do on our website, which is coloniecjc.com. coloniecjc.com.
I appreciate that. So we got that number up there, right? You see that we got that number up there. That's the beautiful thing about this new technology. I mean, I'm just pinching myself with it. And as I say, and you're part of that inaugural fire and kicking this off, which is really beautiful. Now back to Purim. Now, this is with Esther. Am I correct?
The book of Esther is the story of Purim.
Okay.
And actually quite interesting. One of the characters in the story is Mordechai.
Okay.
He's the rabbi in the story, the relative of Esther, who gives her guidance on how to save the Jewish people. Originally, she was picked as queen because she was beautiful. The king was not really into Jews. To be honest, he was himself.
Time out. Now, you gave us the key character next to Esther was a guy by the name of Mordechai. Is that any relation to how you got your Mordecai baby?
Yes, that is. I guess I have to say this. Dun, dun, dun. My name is Mordechai. So ultimately, I'm named after a famous relative of mine, who was the brother of the first Chabad Rabbi.
Okay.
Rabbi Shneur Zalman is the first Chabad Rebbe. He had a brother named Mordechai. We are descendants from him.
What's the name Mordechai mean?
Good. It actually means a beautiful spice.
Whoa! So we got Rabbi Spice on the line here, folks. This is I'm trending 21st century. You're Rabbi Spice.
Yes, Mordechai is a name for a spice. That's what the Talmud tells us. But in all honesty, my birthday is right next to Purim, so I was born before Purim. But my circumcision is when the Jewish tradition to name a boy is not when they're born, but only following once they get a bris. They have a circumcision 8 days later. So I'm like the sandwich. I'm 4 days before Purim. So I was born before Purim, the 10th of the Jewish calendar of Adar, and Purim's on the 14th. And my bris was just a few days after. I'm basically in between. Sandwiching Purim. So my name is Mordechai, and actually, if people are listening that are local, this may sound crazy, but because we're having a special Purim celebration, which we spoke about before about the shtetl, so me and my wife have started this tradition. People dress up on Purim, but to invite people and bring smiles to people's faces, and they should be proud. I spoke to someone on the phone. They're very afraid in today's climate to stand out as a Jew.
Right.
It's unfortunate. It's not the majority of people, thank God, but there are some left. And I was talking to them. So we send out this postcard here.
Oh, could you bring it a little bit closer? Oh, hold it right there. Man, I'm looking like something from Fiddler on the Roof, bro. Man, that's the family. You got the family all hooked up there, brother.
That's right. So this is my family. We got dressed up. We made it into a nice postcard which says, "Wishing you a very happy Purim."
Yes, sir.
On the back, it's got all the information about the Prine House. But also on the top corner here, it's my birthday coming up. And we decided, the Rabbi was, some people, you hear about celebrities, they make a big birthday party.
Right,
so for myself, I'm not really needing, it's a 30th birthday. It's a big milestone for me, obviously. But we felt that the community, the Rabbi encouraged to make birthday parties. If you can find any way to get people together in unison for something good, do it. So we're going to have a special 30th birthday celebration just on the 22nd of February. So that's a little bit away. And then the 7th of March is Purim. If you're not able to attend our celebration, that's fine. But celebrate wherever you are. And there are 4 key elements to celebrating Purim.
Okay, let's break it down for us. First element. Okay.
So I brought show and tell. You ready for show and tell?
All right.
Number 1 is, this is the scroll of Esther.
All right.
Okay? This is the real scroll. These are the words, the story of Purim. Handwritten on parchment. So this is to hear and read the story of Esther from an original scroll handwritten by a scribe. That's 1. You got to relive the story. You got to know the story to appreciate what we came through. We need to know the difficulties. So that's number 1. Second one is a very easy one, is to find a good friend or 2 friends, really even 1 friend, and send them a package of food that's ready to go. 2 types of food. To increase camaraderie, it's called Mishloach Manot. People make fancy versions, but bottom line is, give someone a present of 2 foods, 2 different kosher foods, and you pass it on to a friend, and they pass it back.
Well, you know something, me and Mike are ready. We got your 2 friends right here.
Look,
so we're number 2 and number 2.
Number 2. Number 3 is to think of those who are needy. And that is, we give charity, especially, you can give to generally organizations, but here the key is not to the big organizations, to actually poor people, so they can have food to celebrate Purim. So that is number 3. And 4th is a very festive meal that we have in Purim. So it's about celebrating together with family, with friends, and that's Purim. But we're coming from a very special time. Just yesterday was the Tu B'Shvat, the 15th of Shvat, which is the new year for trees in Judaism. It's time to celebrate. You're talking about environmentalists. You're talking about what you were doing down in D.C. just a week ago.
Yeah.
And the Torah's version is that man is like the tree of the field. We can learn a lot from trees, and we got to take care of the trees. So this is a holiday we just left from, which celebrates fruit and trees.
Could you say it again in the Hebrew again? The holiday again?
Right. Tu B'Shvat. Tu B'Shvat.
I'm going to have. I'm not going to get a tattoo, but I want you to write that out for me, because I want to have that on a poster behind, because again, the cultures that all speak of going back to the book of Genesis, man's stewardship over creation, not controlling it, stewardship, mankind has lost his way, and how do we get back, I'm just grateful we have faith leaders like yourself and others that are constantly reminding us of where we need to be, and not only for our better humanity, but also for the future generations, and yes, for the planet. And the fact that, we have these festivals to remind us of happiness, of joy, of celebrating life. This is something really critical. We got about a minute and a half. If there's any other programs that you want to tick off right now, the next minute and a half.
Well, I'm actually giving now a wonderful course of Torah study, and we're studying now about all of Jewish literature for 3,000 years. So anybody would like to join Torah classes of any type or learn one-on-one, I'm very excited about that. And I've also taken on for my 30th birthday a special club called Club 30, where anybody in the community that wants to join together for study in any format, whether it's a group or personal, for self-growth, for connection with God, welcoming. I'm trying to find 30 people that would like to learn at least once within my next 30th year. I have some show and tell of some special fruits that are exotic that I want to show you from Israel, and we have a little time. You ready? Have you ever seen carob before?
No.
Well, here's a very little piece. This is carob right here.
Ah.
And it's actually quite hard if you don't have good teeth. You can't bite on this with soft in it. But it's actually very tasty. And inside there are seeds. And the Talmud tells a lot of great stories about carob. They're very dry, so they can last a long time. They're very nutritious. They're like a superfood. People ate these and were able to be sustained for a long time. Just another one. This is a larger version of it. Well, here we go. There you go. We have figs, dried figs. This is a special from Israel.
All right.
As well as dates. I'm just showing you some special fruit that we eat on this holiday to mark it. Thank God for his blessings of the fruit of the tree, the fruit of the earth, and remembering that we are here, as you said, to be stewards of the world, to make the world a better place, God willing, with a time of redemption very speedily in our days.
My brother, Rabbi Mordechai Rubin, again, a powerful, as they say, powerful relationship. I cherish our relationship, and I always cherish your presence on the show, and to our Capital Region listeners, and now our listeners around the state, around the country, around the world. Rabbi Mordechai Rubin of Chabad, Colonie, thank you so much for gracing the show. And to the Grand Dam of Rotterdam, we're coming up for a wonderful cup of coffee. Mike?